Hello! Welcome to my 8-month update about my Romanian rescue dog. You probably noticed I haven't uploaded for a while about Susu, only because I didn't feel like it was the right time, to be honest. We'd had a lot of struggles with her training, and it did get to the point where I couldn't really cope with it anymore. But don't worry, I didn't get rid of her. She's still with us. It was just it was getting to me. I was really finding it a struggle, and I did have a bit of a meltdown about it a couple of months ago. So we were really still struggling to get her in the car, and we finally had a breakthrough. We weren't able, like, she just wasn't going in on her own, and I said to my partner that we've got to try something else, and even the trainer had said as well, we just had to try something else because we were just going round in circles, and we just weren't getting anywhere. There was no progress at all. In the end, me and my partner decided, sod this, let's just pick her up, see what happens, just pick her up. So we opened the boot, I made sure to line the boot, and my partner grabbed her from the harness and I grabbed her from her back legs and her chest, and we picked her up, put her in the boot. And I was really shocked because we were only driving about 10-15 minutes up the road, so it wasn't a long drive. We did it during my partner's lunch break, and her tail was up. She was standing up, which was a bit dodgy as she was kind of wobbling all over the place trying to stay still, but
the tail is up. The tail is up. Oh my god. God. So happy.
for the first time ever, she actually took a treat from my hand, which she has never done in the car. She's always shook and she's just panicked, she's hated it, and you know, she was absolutely fine. Like, I couldn't believe this was the same dog. It just felt like, oh my god, it was a massive turning point for us, and it felt like we can actually go places now, which was massive. So of course I nearly cried with excitement because I thought, oh, I started listing all these places I could go, and then a couple of weeks later she was actually jumping in the car by herself, which was amazing. She was jumping in and she was jumping out, and I thought, thank God we're there now. And unfortunately I decided to choose a place near us called the Newport Wetlands, and little did I know that she was absolutely terrified of wind turbines. And it absolutely set her back. I couldn't believe how terrified she was, and she was pulling on the lead. It just wasn't enjoyable. Like, she was really stressed out. The tail was between her legs, she was shaking, and she even, like, we couldn't even take her off the lead because she was going to bolt. She just tried to hide in the bushes, and I thought, I won't be taking her here again. Bad idea. And then we also found that completely just knocked her confidence. And then that same week we had the trainer around, and we'd been telling her what we'd been doing. We'd been picking her up and putting her in the car, and we gave the trainer permission to lift her up herself and put her in the crate. That was not a good move, and we didn't know it was going to happen, but it completely and utterly set her back. And for the next couple of weeks that she was resisting to get in the car, and it was really difficult. We were having to go back to picking her up again, because when the trainer picked her up to put in the crate, it's the crate that really held her back. She's absolutely petrified of the crate. And my partner had a phone call then from the trainer saying, unfortunately I can't get your dog back in the crate, are you able to come and pick her up? So my partner then had to go and drive then to go and get the dog and then walk her back home. And it was, yeah, it was really disheartening. It wasn't the trainer's fault. It was, you know, we gave her permission to do that because that's what we'd been doing. Little did we know it was the crate that was really, it was going to stop her. Now back to her sort of jumping in herself, so she will try and run away, but we've got her on the lead, and if we kind of gently pull her towards the car, she will eventually just go, okay, fine, I'll jump in the car, and then she'll jump in. So we are now back to where we were, which is great. She's not jumping in as confidently as she was, but it's a massive, massive achievement for us. We're very happy with that. So we've also found that our dog is an absolute water baby, so she absolutely loves swimming.
Littles. Rob's taking the fish for a walk.
It's amazing because I love swimming. Any stream or puddle we go to now, that's it, she's in there. And this is incredible because this is coming from a dog who was scared of puddles when we first had her. Like, she would walk around because she just point blank refused to get in. I don't really know what happened to make her just suddenly start jumping in water, because I think it was from when I went for a walk with my friend's husky and he kept trying to jump in the canal, and I think Susu was actually watching him trying to do that. We actually found that she's quite influenced by other dogs as well. I noticed that my friend's dog was playing with one of her toys, and all of a sudden Susu just got up and then she started playing with the toy, which she just doesn't do. She started chucking it up in the air and shaking it around, and I thought, oh my god, you know, she's actually playing. So she doesn't play fetch or anything like that. She'll chase a stick, but she won't bring it back. As long as there's treats involved, you know, we have those little puzzles that we give her as well, as she plays with those. For the first time last week, we actually managed to get her to the beach.
Tail's like a propeller.
Amazing. I was so happy to see her in her element, really. She was just meeting all the dogs on the beach. She was running around doing zoomies, and she had a swim in the sea. She was just so happy, rolling around in the sand as well. Yeah, it was amazing. That really made me happy, because I had a feeling she was going to enjoy the beach, but the nearest beach to us is about half an hour, 45-minute drive away depending on traffic. We weren't sure how she was going to cope with the journey, but yesterday we also managed to take her for a longest trip yet with us, and that was an hour and a half away to Melksham from where we live, and she did amazing. She did shake, she did shake for a bit and she wasn't really that comfortable, but the fact that she was lying down to me meant that she was calm enough to lie down and just accept the car journey. When we went to my partner's mum's house, and they have 2 dogs as well, and she was playing, she had the best time, and I actually think she's a bit sad that she's come home and she's not with them, but she seems to be a bit mopey today, but that might be because my partner's out. The only issue we've noticed at the moment is that she's got a bit of an aggression when it comes to the sofa. So we've noticed that when she's on the sofa and she's trying to sleep, any dog that comes up to her face, she will bare her teeth and growl. She did do it when we first had her. We just put it down to nerves, and we weren't sure whether it was a personal thing towards that dog, or noticed that she was doing it to pretty much every dog that came up to her while she was asleep. I think she was getting a bit defensive about the sofa as well, but no, it just seems to be like the sofa is where she sleeps a lot, but it seems to be when she's trying to sleep and a dog comes up to her face and she's just not interested in playing. Massive progress yesterday where she did growl and bare her teeth for a bit when my partner's mum's dog went up to her. Then later on, when she was on the sofa, she rolled on her back and then she was letting the dog sniff her, and they were up in her face and she was absolutely fine. The tail was wagging and she was playing again. So she's a bit of a grumpy bugger. It depends what mood you get her in, but she's so up and down. Unfortunately, we didn't really succeed with the crate training, so we did end up forking out for a crate. We're not sure if it was too small. We ended up getting a medium large, but to be honest, we did get a large, took that back because it was too big, and went for the medium large instead. But it doesn't matter what size the crate is, she's just petrified of crates. So we did try and do some training. Our partner spent an hour on the floor coaxing her into the crate with treats, and she was shaking. We managed to get her in the crate. She got both her back legs in, but when she tried to come out, she knocked her bum on the crate and made such a bang, and that was it. Then she ran off, and we just haven't been able to get her in the crate ever since. So she's still really nervous about it, and it's just in the corner of our living room, just gathering dust really. So the trainer was still trying to practice with the crate with her, but I do think it's one of those things that it's not going to happen. I don't know. I want someone to prove me wrong, because we seem to be 8 months down the line now, or just over 8 months, and we still haven't had any progress. And bearing in mind, we have had a trainer come to our house for the last 8 months once a week, and she still cannot get the dog in the crate. You know, she's a brilliant trainer. She's done amazing with her. It's just Susu cannot switch off from this fear that she has. I think from when she came over from Romania, she was stuck in a crate, and I think that's it then. I think the moment she's going in a crate, she just thinks she's going to get taken away. The trainer put her in the crate in the van, and she refused point blank to ever get back in again. So it's not worked for us. Maybe when we've had her for about a year, we'll try again and push her a bit more with the training. But at the moment, now we've got her in the car. She's secured in safely in the car, which is exactly what we wanted. We've had her in the boot, we've had her in the back seat, clipped to the seat belt, and it's been that we're happy with. The fact that we can actually go places now has been amazing. Like, it's completely and utterly lifted my mood. I really struggled with it for a while because I actually felt quite isolated. I hated the fact that I was having to go walking on my own, and it felt weird, it felt wrong that I didn't have a dog with me when really I should be hiking or swimming or, you know, exploring woodlands with a dog, and I couldn't have her with me. So I don't go anywhere in the car on my own with her. I usually just wait as long as my partner's with me. I'm still having problems with walking her. So I had a bit of a breakthrough about a couple of months ago. I started walking her on a Thursday evening because my partner does a tools workshop on a Thursday evening that he's now allowed to go back to because of COVID. So I started doing the Thursday evening walks, except she just stopped walking with me. Which you might have seen in my last video that I was having problems with because she didn't want to go anywhere unless my partner was with me. And I was coaxing her along. I thought I was completely calm about it, and I changed my mindset, and I didn't lose any patience. I was really calm with her. I coaxed her along the canal, and I managed to do a big loop, and she was absolutely fine. And then the next week, no problem at all. She was coming along with me. She was running in the fields, like, rolling around, and it was brilliant. I thought, hallelujah, I can finally walk this dog on my own. But I cannot walk her if my partner is at home. I can only walk her when my partner's not here because she doesn't want to leave him. So that's a bit of a problem because it means that my partner has to be out in order for me to actually walk her. And I do feel bad because he does do the majority of the walks, and I would love to take her on my own to places if she would come with me, but still trying. She did unfortunately have a bit of a setback last week, and we think it's because a dog ran up to her a few weeks ago in the field. She ended up running out of the field because she was so scared of this dog. I have no idea why, because she'd met this dog before. There was nothing wrong, and I think it was maybe the way the dog ran up to her, but she had a tail between her legs and then she bolted, and ever since then she's refused point blank to go back in that field. So I'm still working on it, so that's a bit frustrating because that was the loop around the estate that I take her with me, because there's a good hour-long walk around, and can't walk that way now, so I have to take a complete different direction, or I have to find a different route now. This one I know might have some divided opinions on this one, and you know, bear with me. When you have a dog that's as anxious as ours, you do get to the point when you think, I want anything to work, really. I just want to try something. You're desperate to help this dog. And I was at a really low point when we were really struggling to get Susu in the car. I did have a chat with my partner, and I did really want to start trying anxiety medication. It was a route that we really were reluctant to go on. We're in the process of buying a house. We're a bit concerned that it's going to set her back because it's going to be a big move. It's an hour-long journey from where we are now, so it's a bit further. And we're not sure how she'll cope with the travel. So I did say to my partner that, you know, we were both willing to go to the vet and see if they would prescribe anything. But I was at such a low point that I thought, I just want to try something now. But I wanted to see if Pets at Home had anything that I could try first before maybe going to the vet for something a bit stronger. So I did pick up a couple of different medications just to try. I know not everyone will agree with them, but I just wanted to try. It doesn't mean that I'm keeping her on them, I just wanted to try something. I did spend a bit of money on these products, which is a bit frustrating that we've had to resort to this. I'm not convinced that any of them have actually worked. She's still quite an anxious dog, and I think the only reason she's built her confidence is because she's been with us a lot longer now. But I am going to use the rest of these tablets and treats, and we'll see how it goes, but I probably won't be buying them again. I've tried the Adaptol diffuser. Did absolute bugger all. I think it was about 3 or 4 months worth of diffuser that I used. Didn't work. Personally, I didn't find it did anything for her, but that might be because her anxiety is so extreme that it probably didn't work. And I also tried the Adaptil spray for the car for travelling. Don't think that worked either, because even when she was in the car she was still shaking, and I still use it now for every journey. I don't really think it's made that much of a difference, because I ended up just using her blankets and her dog bed to put in the car anyway, just so she's got her scent on it. But I'm still using the bottle, still going to use the rest of it just to see. But it'd be interesting to see what would happen when she comes off all these tablets. Sounds awful, because it sounds like I'm drugging her, and I hate the fact that I went down this route. But like I said, I just wanted to try something. The first one I did try was the Vet IQ Serene Extra Calming tablets. Don't think they did anything. I didn't notice a difference personally. I thought I did at first, but my partner said he didn't notice a difference, and I think it might have been the placebo effect for me, convinced that it was doing her good. Finished that now, not going to be buying anymore because I don't think it did anything. I also tried the UCalm 1 a day treats. Absolutely bugger all, and she doesn't even like them anyway. She actually spits them out, so I did have to cut them up and put in her main meal, but I won't be buying those again. And now I'm also now finishing the Vet's Best Comfort Calm plant-based tablets. Again, haven't really seen a difference. I don't know if that's working either, but I think I've learned from this that I probably won't be spending my money on anti-anxiety unless I'm desperate and I will go to the vet for medication. So if you want to judge me on buying these products, then fine, but it was because I felt like I had to resort to something. But we probably will look to speak to a vet when we move house, and we'll see what happens anyway. We do have a slight issue with the kitchen. Unfortunately, a few months ago, my partner set off the fire alarm when he was cooking, and it really scared her, and she ran upstairs, and ever since then, every time my partner goes in the kitchen, she gets really freaked out, and then she runs upstairs, like literally without fail. Every time my partner goes in the kitchen to cook, that's it, she's gone. Which is fine, because it means that she's not under my partner's feet, but I don't want her to feel scared, because she goes into the bedroom to hide, and then when we're sat back down on the sofa, or when we're eating, she'll come back downstairs then and just lay next to us, and it's fine, but it's frustrating, because I don't want her to feel scared. There's no reason for her to be scared, and I don't really know how to get her to overcome that. I actually don't know where to start. Is it a bad thing? I don't know, but she's doing it every time now, and this has been going on for a few months. So if anyone has any tips on how to make her not scared of my partner cooking, then that would be very helpful. When we first had Susu, we were advised by the charity that she should be on dry food. So we tried her on wags. She didn't get on with that, we found. We found that she was constantly going to the toilet a lot, and she'd have an upset stomach, and it was, to me, I didn't feel like it was really suitable for her. Read online that German Shepherds should be on raw food diet, or it's recommended for them to be on raw food, and we decided to give it a go. So it's a lot more expensive than dry food, but to be honest, we just wanted her to be healthy, and if it meant us spending that bit of extra money, then fine. So we went for a company that was recommended to us by the trainer called Able, and to be fair, she's been on this for probably about 4 months now, and she's absolutely great. Like, she's completely changed her toilet habits as well, which was really good. So the only time she seems to get a bit of a dodgy belly is if she's had too many treats from training. So we do try and cut back, but these are all, they're all pre-packaged. We have to freeze them, and then we defrost them, and then she can have them. So she gets 2 packets a day, recommended for her size. And we don't know exactly what breed she is, but we're guessing she's a German Shepherd cross, or from what, you know, from the way she looks anyway. And she seems to be great on it. My only peeve is that it is a lot of packaging that comes with it. It's really frustrating. So we started going down the route of a bit more eco-friendly treats, just purely because of the packaging that comes with it, but that's a completely separate argument. I won't go into that, it's just a personal preference. But yeah, so we're sticking with the raw food diet for now. She seems to be working really well on it. She seems to really enjoy it, which is good, because when we first gave it to her, she didn't know what to do with it, and she ended up dragging it around and dropping bits all over the living room and then just leaving it. And I thought, oh, that's quite disgusting. It makes me feel a bit sick when I'm handling it anyway. But yeah, she's absolutely fine now. She gobbles it down and she's great. Yeah, quite glad. Yeah, really glad that we went down the raw food diet. Restrictions are starting to ease and lockdown restrictions have been lifted. We wanted to start introducing Susu to other people's houses. So we first off started with my parents, and it was a relief, to be honest, that it went as well as it did. We weren't sure how she was going to cope because she hadn't been in anyone else's house since the foster carer, other than obviously our own. So we haven't been able to take her anywhere, so we've not really been able to see what she's like in other people's homes, and also because she hasn't been able to get in the car. I asked my mum to keep the back door open and the side door so she could go straight to the garden if she wanted to. She was a bit wary at first, and she did just run straight through the side door, straight into the garden, and was really apprehensive, and it looked like she was trying to escape. So we had to quickly shut all the doors, and she soon became settled. She was great. I gave her an evening meal and she lay down in the grass. She didn't come into the house. She was still a bit wary about coming into the house, which is fine because my mum's got a shelter in the garden anyway, so we all just sat outside and had dinner outside anyway, and the weather was lovely, and it meant that I could keep an eye on Susu, and she was great. We were there for a few hours and no problem whatsoever. She also met my niece. She'd met my niece before, but it had been quite a while, and we'd only had about a week at that point. I had my niece to go up to her, to pet her. She was, yeah, absolutely great. And yeah, just rolled around on the grass, and obviously her ears pricked up when my mum brought food out. I made sure I had treats with me so we could, so she wouldn't feel so left out. And we also took her for a walk around the field behind my parents' house, and she was brilliant. And then we took her again then for the next week, and she was great. She just went straight in the house and it was fine, no problem at all. She sat down in my parents' living room and made herself a home, and it was great. So we've had no problem with that, and it also makes me feel a bit better knowing that we could probably go away in the future now. If we can't take the dog with us, then either Rob's parents or my parents could probably look after the dog. So probably try her in a doggy daycare. But for now, I'm just really happy that she's gone into the house completely fine. And with my partner's mum, we went to go and visit yesterday, and she was absolutely fine. She just went straight in the house, no problem at all. And she even had a wander around the garden. So yeah, I could not have gone better. It was brilliant, really happy with that. So all in all, I think she's done absolutely amazing, considering the hiccup we had recently and how much it was getting to me. I do feel that a weight has lifted off my shoulders, and we're starting to see so much progress now that it's been enjoyable having a dog. Like I can't really imagine life without her now. It's really strange, although she's still a massive pain in the arse at times, and I just want to shake her because she's just so nervous, and I think there is nothing to be nervous about. I think we're on the right track. So maybe in a few months I might do another update, but for the time being she seems to be doing really well. We still have some slight issues. I'm looking forward to moving, hopefully, if it all goes ahead, because the new house we'll have a much bigger garden. So the garden we've got now is way too small, and she just doesn't go outside. She's had a little bit of a wander if we go outside, but she won't go out on her own. I've left the garden door wide open for her to go out, to come in and out as she pleases, but she won't. She just doesn't do it. So I'm hoping that once we move and we've got a bigger garden, she can go out and she can have a bit more fun and a bit more bigger space to roam in. So I'd be happy with that. And there's going to be plenty of walks around, and hopefully she really enjoy them. So I list of places to take her, and I can't believe how many places we've taken her so far, considering she's only been getting in for the last couple of months. She's still quite apprehensive when we take her out the car, but she's doing a lot better now, which I'm really happy about. Thank you for watching. If anyone has any questions or any advice for me, then please let me know. Thank you.